Huh. Okay. Well, this is really strange.
And you show that we're live on StreamYard, right?
Oh yeah, it says
there it goes. I think we're live. Yeah, there it is.
Holy smokes!
Wow.
All right, guys. Sorry for that delay, but we've been live according to StreamYard for about 2 minutes. So there is absolutely a delay from YouTube's end, which is kind of interesting. So let's see. I'm going to go back and see what we're doing. We're probably all sitting here just talking and bullshitting. So, yep, that's what we're doing. So the first 2 minutes of this video, just go right past that. There's nothing there for you guys. All right, so welcome back. It's another episode of apparently Three Guys Chat with myself, Big Johnson, and KS Gun Guy as well. So good evening, gentlemen. How is everybody today?
We're alive. How about you?
Yeah,
I'm alive apparently.
Another day, another dollar.
All right, so yeah, right. So hopefully for more people than not nowadays. But let's do a quick roll call here with everybody who's showing up. Again, there was a little bit of a screw up on my part today, guys. So I'm sorry. My brain is just friggin' fried at this point. So I put everybody up as 9 o'clock, and then Big Johnson texted me saying, "Dude, are we going on at 7 and 8?" So I'm like, shit, I messed up. So I was in the middle of eating a nice steak with tater tots because I love tater tots. And now it's sitting on my kitchen table. So I've sacrificed a piece of meat and tater tots for everyone. So I hope you guys appreciate that. So we've got Craig Fatla, Buffer Zone, Big Johnson's here, God's Wrath, KS is here, Pistol Pete, Reb, Cody Fowler. Let's see, scrolling down, Roman 623, Dan O'Neill, Double B, LZ USA. Let's see. Blah, 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 going down. Young Guns, how you doing, buddy? C. Kim, hello as always. And I think that's about it for now. If I see, or if I missed anybody, sorry. Rudy Stumval, he's new. Keith Gregory and Range Randy. Keenan, my friend, is here. Sam Gal. And that's it. Okay, so here we are. Thanks for joining us, guys, on a Wednesday night. So Art's in the house. So, we don't really have anything set as an agenda tonight. We're actually going to try to do our best in answering questions tonight. I know we've kind of been going back and forth a lot. We've missed a little bit in regards to answering questions. So if you guys have any topics you want to bring up, feel free to. And if, of course, any of the watchers here or viewers want to bring up a topic, feel free to ask, guys. And we will do our best to answer honestly and with probably no real information as possible. So
Art's got a question right there.
Mark does?
Art.
This one here?
Yep. Oh, and what I was going to say is you could have pulled a Napoleon Dynamite and stuck those tater tots in your pocket, and you could just eat them.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Can I have some tots?
Yeah.
Look, tater tots are good, man. I like them. Anyway, what's considered the minimum amount of ammo people should keep in reserve? So what would you both say on that one?
Go ahead, KS.
I can't think of an actual prescribed amount because it's going to be different for each person based upon what their applications are or how much they shoot or whatever, or how many firearms they have, how many magazines they have. I would say at a very bare minimum, fill up all your magazines. So everything's 100% full. So if you had to run out the door and grab your magazines, you're good to go. But if you like to frequent the range, that sort of thing, I mean, I think ideally at least a case of ammo might be kind of good. That's for 9mm, that's 1,000 rounds. Of course, that's going to fluctuate based on the caliber, but that's hard to pinpoint an exact number. I mean, that's tough to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on exactly kind of what you said, depending on how people shoot, how much they shoot. Is it defensive ammo? Is it target ammo? I would say at least 1,000 to 2,000 rounds of 9mm on hand, because, and it doesn't have to be defensive ammo. I mean, you can do some damage with Full Metal Jacket, if you have to. But I keep quite a bit on stock because of these, kind of situations that we've been going through. You never know when it's going to hit or when something could go bad. So I would recommend, even during this, if you can just keep picking up ammo, I say do it. It's never a bad thing to have too much ammo. I don't think there is such a thing as too much ammo.
So I would agree it's anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 rounds, but I think more importantly, it's whatever you can afford. Obviously it'd be nice to have 50,000 rounds per whatever you own, but some people can't do that. So whatever you can afford. I mean, if you have, I don't want to say 100 rounds, but if you have 100 rounds, that's what you can put out for, then by all means get it. But I would say 1 to 2 should be a minimum. But if not, whatever you can afford. So I think that would be what I would advise. So we have another question from JZ081. And by the way, guys, if we don't see your question, try to put us up and so it says, 17 or KS or Big Johnson or something so we can see it quicker. It says, what are your thoughts on the new Beretta 92X line? So gentlemen, what do you think about that?
Go ahead, KS.
Well, I like it quite a bit, and I only have experience with the 92X Performance. That's the one that I have. In fact, I got rid of the Wilson Combat and the Langdon Tactical. Not that they weren't both great, they were, but the 92X I was very interested in first. I just thought it had some really cool features, kind of a different look to it. And the thing weighs about as much as a house, which makes it just a very pleasant shooter as long as you don't mind holding it up because it really is heavy. But I've been very impressed. I have no idea what the other guns in the line are like. They might be good, they might not be, but I think they're worth checking out if you're into Berettas.
Yeah, I was actually fortunate enough to shoot KS's 92X Performance, and I kind of did a little, quick opinion on it. I think it's a nice gun. The ergonomics for me, and I'm just, if I have to pick something apart, the ergonomics are kind of a standard 92. It has a little bit of difference because you can put the additional little strap on it, but he didn't have that on there. I prefer like the Shadow 2 ergonomics because you can adjust it with the grip to your hand. I think it's a nice shooting gun, but I'm a Shadow 2 snob or whatever you want to say. So I prefer the Shadow 2, but I think it's a very nice gun. If you like the 92, it is the top of the line 92, and it shoots really, really nice. And he's right. It is a boat anchor. It's heavy.
So, I've been able to hold the Compact and the Centurion model. I have an M9A3 full, so to me, that's more like the full size anyway. I think if you have an M9, the A3, I don't think you really need to get a 92X. I really don't. Now, if you like the competition series one, again, I don't have any experience with that. It's a sweet looking gun. I mean, it's a beautiful looking gun when you look at it. But again, it's around about $1,400. So I don't know if you compare that to a Shadow 2, which one are you getting better, mileage with? I don't know. But I think the 92X is a decent series. I just wish Beretta would have maybe just kept their looks on that instead of trying to get that polymer stuff going with the APX that they abandoned. But at the same time, I think the 92X is good. And if you've never had one, I think it would be an excellent buy because right now they're fairly cheap if you look at them. If you look online, they're actually pretty cheap, which is surprising. Yeah. So we have Roman 623. And by the way, Guy comment, thank you for $5. We will get to you here in a second, sir. So it says Roman 623, questions for panel. Do any of all of you have any experience with Springfield XDE, the Hammer one? I like the XDS, but checking out the Hammer version. So what do you guys say about that?
I have played with it. I haven't officially fired it. I have dry fired it. I didn't think it was all that bad. I mean, it's, kind of small, but I didn't think the trigger was horrible, but it's, I don't really think it's a gun for me, so to say, but if you have it and you like it, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's just my opinion.
I've heard some people say very good things about him. I have no experience. I've seen him, but I've not. It's just kind of not on my radar, to be honest with you. I like double action, single action, but in a different size, like a Shadow 2 size, something like that. So getting into that form factor, kind of that single stack, very small form factor, it's just not on my radar. But again, people have said they're pretty good for what they are. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. They look a little bit out of sorts in regards to their ergonomics. A very high slide height. The hammer on there, that thing looks like it'll hook on anything and everything. So I'm not a big fan of it. I'll be honest with you. It never really appealed to me. I personally would stay away from it. But again, if you like it, go for it, man, and see what it's all about. So Guy Common asks, which part of taking a shot is most important to you? Grip, trigger, sights, or something else? What do you guys think?
All right. So if there's enough time, I'll just jump in.
Go ahead.
I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's grip and trigger control. You can have one or the other, and it can still be out of whack. It can still be not good quality shots. But if you have a good grip, and that can vary depending on the firearm you're shooting, whether it be size or manual of arms, that sort of thing. But then also trigger control, how you approach the trigger, what style you do to make sure it's dead center in the trigger, so you're not pulling your shots one way or the other, and you're pulling straight back. So if you can nail down those two fundamentals, there's still more to it, of course, but those are huge players when shooting, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that is a difficult question because it's kind of like you have to have a little bit of all of it. But I would say this: if you can keep your sights locked down on your target and you can do all the rest without moving your sights, you're going to hit your target. So, but again, if you have a wonky grip and if you have bad trigger, mechanics, it's going to go all over the place. So, you've got a lot of variables there.
So I think all three are important as well. For me, I think the biggest thing is the trigger pull. Heavy trigger pulls, especially with, and you guys know my hands shake. I think about at least once every other day somebody reminds me. But for me, what I notice is the heavier the trigger, the worse the shakes are because of the tension that's building up on that trigger. So the smoother take up on the triggers, obviously a lighter trigger for me works wonders for the shake. So that may be why I'm very partial to changing out trigger. The grips I have no problem with. Sights, not really an issue, except the fact that I shoot righty but left eye dominant, which sucks. But at the same time, for me, it's always the trigger pull that always gets me. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Mark brought up an interesting question. What's up with the Steyr A2s and the C and the M? I actually emailed Steyr about a week ago, not even a week ago, because I want to get an MF A2. Like I want one, and you can't find them anywhere. So unfortunately, the answer is we don't have any. So they don't have any. None have been imported in a while, and I don't know if they're even looking at the smaller modules for those things at this point. Another massive failure, I think, on Steyr's marketing. It's just a damn shame. It really is.
Yeah, Buffer's saying it looks like
anything, let me know.
Buffer's saying it looks like I sewed this patch on my hat myself, but no, it's from CZ. It's one of those worn look, I guess, patches. So it came that way. I can't sew.
If you guys see any questions, just let me know. Parts by Teddy is asking, what are me, but all of us, what are your thoughts about a PX40 for, I'm assuming a PX Storm and a 40 cal for $329? Wow, that's a good price. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's a police trade-in.
Might be.
Yeah, it could be. I think the PX Storm is a good gun. I prefer the full size if I had to get one. 40 is shootable. It's not my preferred caliber, but if it is that great of a deal and that's what you want, get it. I have seen a lot of the used 9mm versions actually going for pretty reasonable. Now this was before the Corona thing, but they were actually going for pretty reasonable prices. But I don't know what they're going for now. I haven't kept up with them recently.
Yeah, I'm not a big 40 guy, but the PX4 Storm I enjoyed a lot. I think it's a slightly underrated gun. I think it's a soft shooting gun. It's kind of weird looking, unless you're into that, and then it's cool. But I enjoyed shooting it for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good gun, and I think the 40 will be mitigated by the rotating barrel a little bit. So I think that's good. I don't think you could go wrong. I think right now 40s are still, I think people are moving past it. But I think that's a win for you because it means hopefully ammo will become cheaper, more available, thus giving you more options, I think.
Yeah, and you could put the Langdon, I believe they make it for the 40, but you can put the Langdon kit in it if it's available, and that really does make that gun really nice.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here.
JZ081 has a question, just popped up a moment ago.
JZ, there it is. All right, there we go. Oh, let me put it back up there. When do you think gun and ammo prices will stabilize?
And we talked a little bit about this last week. It's going to be hard to tell, but even if they're able to replenish the supplies, we might not see the prices go back down to what they were 6 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever. It's always hard to tell when these things happen. It really is.
Yeah, every time this stuff happens, they'll go up and they'll stay up for quite a while. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be 6 months or longer before they, I wouldn't say, drop, but I would say maybe they could start coming down because ammo is going to be more plentiful. The grabbers have already have gotten what they want to get. I would say at least 6 months is my guess.
I don't really have any estimate. I couldn't even tell you. Everything's closed in regards to ammo here. So I know when before there was nothing on the shelves, it's all gone. So I'm assuming it's still gone. And if they were to reopen, there would be nothing left anyway. So, all right, let's see. There was one up here. So, okay. Favorite single stack? Keith Gregory. Favorite single stack?
Mine would be 1911. I'll throw that out there, but I know he's probably talking about and I carried a 1911 forever, full size. But I would probably say the Shield 45 or the Shield 9mm is still one of my favorites. That's just me personally. If I had to carry one, that's what I would carry.
I would also say 1911s for sure, but if I had to pick an overall, I guess, winner, what have you, I'd say the Shield too. I mean, it's a great gun. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth, I suppose, because it's been around quite some time, and there are certainly options that are about the same size that have more capacity. But the Shield just does a good job. It's got good aftermarket support, so it's hard to complain. Plus, you can get them pretty cheap, and that's a big deal,
Yeah.
And if you guys are patient out there, Apex is coming out with a full-length slide for the Shields that I believe are milled for an RMR or not an RMR, but a Shield. So that's pretty sweet. For me, if I was going to pick a single stack, it's got to be the Walther CCP. Just totally bullshitting everybody on that.
I was waiting for how long.
Yeah, I knew you were. I was waiting for the.
Definitely not with the Walther CCP. It's kind of a close one. I mean, I love the Shield. The Shield is such a good, proven firearm. Whether it's this, the small one or the 4-inch barrel, fantastic guns. But honestly, I would say my favorite that I've ever owned was probably the 43X, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But I think the 43X just felt better in my hand than any other single stack that I've owned.
Yeah.
But again, it's always, personal preference, guys,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, 1911 for the single stack wins it by far because of all the benefits. But not a lot of people, or your average people who aren't used to them, they're not going to carry them or think they're too big. But you could get a smaller, mid-size 1911 if that's what you chose to carry. But some people don't like the external safeties and the grip safeties and all that other stuff. So
Dan is saying non-gun owner friend in California looking at options. California laws suck. Yes, they do. However, on that list of California approved handguns is a CZP01. So that would be what I would recommend for your new friend or your friend who wants a gun.
There you go.
Yeah.
As Ranger's making a good point. Why didn't people learn from the last shortage? Even if it's 100 rounds a week, don't wait till we are in the teeth of a shortage. I mean, I think that's true. Get what you're comfortable with, and you can fit into your budget and everything. But just periodically pick up small amounts, and that way, when something like this happens, you're not running around. Yep. I mean, I've talked to dozens of people that have come into Centerfire, and they've said, I've been all over the city looking, and thankfully we have ammo, but they can't find anything. They can't find anything. They are taking a day trip essentially, and making the loop all the way around the city, looking all over the place. It's amazing.
Yeah, and when it first hit, I told you I was getting text and calls and everything. Oh man, I need ammo. I know you have it. Can I have some? And I was like, really? I'm like, no.
But even the crazier thing though is that when it's not a huge rush, there are people out there willing to buy an expensive pack of smokes, going to a fancy coffee place to get coffee or something. If you would just take that money and throw it in a can, and at the end of the week, go into a gun shop and buy ammo, you'd have a shitload right now. People waste money on a lot of stupid stuff. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. So for me, that's a bonus. So whatever I put in the pot, I take in and I buy ammo.
Yeah. Never hurts to grab some periodically.
Well, satisfy both. Make your own coffee and buy ammo.
No.
God's wrath. This is the second time he's asked the question. So it says, how often do you, or all three, obviously, if at all, train with a timer on certain drills, i.e. cold drills at the range? I don't, because I don't have that option.
I have a timer, but to be honest with you, I've used it. I don't use it enough. I really don't. And, shame on me. I draw from the holster and do things like that, but I don't necessarily have here's my exact part time I want to hit. I can set that in my timer, everybody can, but that's one thing that I need to do a lot more of, to be honest with you. And you can even set it for a part time and do dry fires at home. It doesn't have to be loaded. I don't have it loaded if you're doing that, but you can even draw, from holsters and things like that without ammo, and I don't do it enough.
Yeah. Our indoor range timers don't always work very well. They're not always very reliable. There's just so much ambient noise. Sometimes the timer has a hard time picking things like that up. So I don't really use a timer. I've certainly been under time when I was competing years ago, but now, I work on my own stuff at my own pace, and I certainly try and push myself to be a little bit quicker every time as best I can. But I don't do anything under that guise, if you will.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Kathleen,
yeah, go ahead.
She's asking, what do you guys think? Learn on a striker or something else? First gun. What would you train on or learn on? Striker fired, hammer fired, flamethrower. What would you guys choose?
I would recommend the striker fire because you're going to get constant trigger. You're not dealing with the double action. Your first, if it's your very first gun and you're new to firearms, I would say a striker fire because it gives you a consistent trigger pull every single time. And that's what I would recommend.
To me, it's whatever you pick up. So maybe it's a revolver, maybe it's double action, single action, striker, whatever it is. Learn that system, learn the mechanics, get your fundamentals down, and if you start incorporating some other manual of arms, that sort of thing, so be it. But you get proficient on whatever it is you have. I don't know that there's necessarily a better for first timers. A lot of people say get a double action trigger before anything else. It's going to be heavy, and if you can learn to master that, you can do anything. And I think there's some truth to that. But if you pick up a striker for your first, learn it and go with it. I don't think there's a wrong answer there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know what the right answer is either. It's whatever you have accessibility to, I guess, as Big Johnson's saying, and I think it depends on what you're interested in. Obviously, for the ease of use, the striker fire is easier, but, if it's your first gun and you want to be extremely comfortable carrying, I think some people would recommend a hammer-fired gun, just for the lack of possible accidents, I guess, or lessens the idea of that. But at the same time, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever you have, whatever you can find, and whatever you can afford. If you can afford a cheap striker-fired handgun that's reliable, go for it, and sometimes you can find a cheap hammer-fired gun. So I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think if you go hammer, you're getting a little more trigger discipline. If you go striker, you're getting easier use, which could maybe develop you as either a lazy shooter or a better shooter.
The only thing that I could throw a little thing out there, if you're learning on a double action trigger, and I learned on, revolvers, the 12-pound crazy triggers. The only thing is if, maybe you have arthritis or you're a younger person or you have small hands, if you're pulling back a 12-pound trigger or 10-pound trigger or 11-pound trigger on a double action, you can get a little more shake. Yeah, and it is going to teach you discipline, to be better with that. However, it could also turn you off to shooting because you're going to be like, oh my God, my groups are so big and my hands are shaking trying to pull that trigger back so much. And that's what I'm saying. If you're new to it, you don't have to get a 3-pound single action trigger. But if you're getting like a 5.5 pound or 6 or something like that, it's a lot better than a 12-pound trigger. Now, of course, when you go to single action, most of them are butter. I mean, you can get, 3-pound, 3.5-pound triggers on single action, but for a new shooter, that double action could be a big turn off, or they're just like, hell with it. I don't even want to shoot them. So, you never know. It depends on the person.
So to play devil's advocate with both of you then on what you're saying, would you think that, a shooter who gets turned off quickly because the trigger pull is too heavy, do you think that's actually a good thing? Because then are they truly dedicated to spending the time, learning the gun, learning, the mode of operation, all that other stuff? I mean, I'm not saying that they should turn off. I'm just asking, like, what do you guys think about something like that?
I think it could be a turn off, but to your point, there's got to be a will to want to do it in the first place. Now, on the flip side, you might have somebody who really, really wants to learn, but maybe they can't physically do it. My mom's going to struggle a little bit with a 12-pound trigger. So, on that side of the coin, I'd want to get her something that not only would, fit her hand in that sort of thing, but also something she could function with, and maybe a Shield Easy is the way to go or something like that. So, so there's a little bit of a give and take, but if a buddy of mine about my age, reasonably capable, reasonably healthy, wants to learn, and if I give him that double action, this might be a good way to learn. Let's try it. If he's willing, let's do it and stick with it.
I just think once you get you get the striker fire down and you're pretty familiar with it, you're comfortable with it, then, I feel you should know every trigger. I mean, that's my opinion, and I've said it numerous times. But I think once you have the basics of a striker fire, then you could go into a double action, single action, and you already know you can shoot the striker fire. So it's going to give you like, I can do this. I want to master that double action, single action. So it's going to give you kind of the euphoria that now I've got more of a challenge. I look at double action, single actions as more of a challenge than I do striker fires, just to get a good group and things like that. And, the good thing about the decocker versions is, like when I shoot double action, single action, you can only shoot double action once, and then it goes into single action. But if you decock it, then you can go into the half cocked position or your firing position, and you can just keep doing that through your whole mag. So you're going to get used to that heavier trigger. Then all of a sudden, when you get that light trigger, man, it's just going to be like a 1911. You're going to be like, holy crap, this is cake. It's so easy. So I just think that's going to build up more confidence. That's just kind of where I'm going with that. But again, it comes down to the shooter and what their expectations are and what they want to learn. So,
yeah.
So God's Wrath is asking to the panel, do you guys carry extra mags? How many do you carry, and have you, or do you ever carry more than one gun on you?
Go ahead. Y'all can
answer. So I wear a sash with magazines.
A bandolero. Don't say a sash.
It's a sash. It's like one of those Boy Scout sashes.
Maybe it's a sash in Kansas, but it's not. It's definitely not in Texas.
Bandolero, bandolero. Come on,
we allow a wide variety of wardrobe options with your firearms here in Kansas. No, I carry an extra magazine with my carry gun. It's typically something that's equal or above in capacity to one degree or another. But aside from that, that's it. I'm not carrying two guns with me. Now, there's an exception to that. I have a bag gun, and that is with me. And so I've got a PDW, my Banshee I keep with me. And it's got its own set of magazines and that sort of thing. And a lot of times I'll have my Glock 26, so the magazines are swappable, and there's some thought put into that, of course. But I'm not loading myself down with multiple firearms and that sort of thing. If I can't handle something with the one that I've got, I'm in the wrong place. I really am.
Yeah, I have carried 2 pistols on me at one time and a PDW in a bag. But on my person, I've carried 2 pistols, more than a couple of handfuls of times, because I go into some kind of weird areas and I was with someone else. Now that person doesn't carry, but they know how to shoot. So I could always turn one gun over to them, and it's usually my shield, and it's a left-hand holster, and it's on my left-hand hip. So I have done that before, but I always carry a backup mag on me. Along, of course, it's got the mag in the gun, but that's what I do. I don't carry like 15 mags on me and all that crazy stuff I've seen some people do.
Yeah, I mean, I usually carry 2 extra mags plus the one in the gun. I've carried 2 at a time on outside the waistband on both, which is kind of cool. It's comfortable as hell. And what was the other part of that question? I don't even remember.
More than one gun.
Just more than one gun or mag.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think that's doable as long as it's comfortable. Who cares? Yeah. Carry 3 or 4 if you could.
True.
Yeah. So Jonathan is asking, why do companies like Smith & Wesson, SIG make RMR milled slides for the 4-inch shield and 365 XL, but not for the regular size shield and 365? I'm thinking it probably has something to do with slide length. A lot of people don't like the idea of a short slide or short barrel with a red dot on it.
Well, they can't do it. There's not enough room. They don't make red dots small enough to be able to not impede the functionality of those tiny firearms. Just not enough room.
Well, what about the PPS M2 RMSE?
For whatever, their mechanics must have been different to allow for that shallow RMR. But if you think about like Smith & Wesson's, their safety plungers, most of them, they run right up to their rear sights. I mean, they've got mechanics going on basically right under the slide all the way through the back of it. 365, I'm not 100% sure on, but I think mechanically they can't do it.
I think you're going to start seeing more and more of it because of like the new Hollow Sun, the small one, the Shield. I think you're going to start seeing more of the smaller guns start at least offering it, if not having 2 versions. Because red dots are becoming more and more popular. And if the person chooses to use a red dot, they can. If not, leave the plate on there. But I think you're going to start seeing options in the future, more and more of those coming with them. That's what I'm thinking. If not, you can have it milled for it, even if it is a plate that kind of, sticks over the side just a tad, you could still have it milled for a lot of those guns now.
So Peter K is asking, when you guys are for a long trip, do you guys take only loaded mags or perhaps a box of ammo? I take a couple of boxes of ammo all the time. I actually take a case. I should say like a little case that fits about 6 boxes of ammo in there.
It's a little ammo purse.
Yeah.
To match your sash.
That's right.
Yeah, the sash and the purse. So, you got to have both.
Oh, right.
As long as they like correspond with each other. You don't want any, colors that are off or anything like that. So,
your tactical fanny pack.
I'm wondering what the definition of a long trip is and what the purpose of the trip is. If I'm driving to a destination, a vacation, maybe I'm driving to Colorado or something like that. I'm taking what I have with me, and that means the typical loadout. I may take an extra magazine, but because I'm on a long road trip, am I going to get in more fights? I mean, that's the question. Am I planning on making stops and it's shoot out the OK Corral? No, I don't think so. So I don't know that there's necessarily need to, bulk up more ammo just because I'm in the car going a further distance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I always have boxes of ammo in the vehicle. It's there. And, I'm carrying, if I'm going on a really long trip, I'm carrying like the Bronx or the Bureau with me with the AR pistol or something like that. And in there, I do have more pistol mags. That's just kind of part of my loadout. If you want to see it, you can go on Instagram or whatever. But if something were to happen and you're not in your comfort zone, at least you have a little bit more to use if need be. But, it's not like I'm carrying 9,000 mags and, 2,000 rounds of ammo. It's not that kind of setup. But I've got enough to help me out if I need it.
Yeah. Let's see. God's wrath. All right, I'm going to start charging you for every question here on out. So just kidding, buddy. So it says, how often do you guys practice headshots? At what distance, for example, the Texas church shoot? What do you guys say about that?
It's funny that you asked that because I just practiced that today. I did it at 10 yards, 15 yards, and it was strictly on a US PSA target. And I made videos, so I'll have that out soon. And I even posted it on Instagram if you want to see it. But it's 10 yards and 15 yards just for the little head box, and it's like the size of a fist. And it's pretty damn good. So, I mean, that's just something I practice not because of that reason, but if that reason arose, that's the off switch. So, that's I do it every time I go to the range, but I just really focused on it hard today.
Nice. I pretty much every time I shoot, not every single time, but just about every time. Certainly, if I'm shooting carry guns, so I'll certainly put rounds, both center mass, probably 85%, maybe 90%, and then I will definitely take some headshots as well. But I, if you're hitting the target you want to hit, you're going to hit the target you want to hit. So practice your accuracy and practice all the fundamentals, and where you want the bullets to land will come, regardless of what part of the paper your steel you're shooting at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And likewise, I mean, anywhere from 7 to 10 yards, I usually shoot center mass, then work my way up to the head. I know that a lot of people look at those kind of shoots saying, wow, that's amazing. I wonder if some of those shoots are lucky hits or not. I mean, I think at the same time, if you're in that kind of situation, hopefully you never are, just go for the biggest damn thing on that person's body that you can find, and just keep on pulling that trigger. And then hopefully you'll hit something soft and it'll go, and then that person will drop. So, I don't know. Again, there's all these possibilities in the world, but, I'm just going to shoot for what I can find.
Yeah, if it's under speed and you've got to get something done quick, I'm going for, the top of the chest area where you've got your esophagus, your lungs, your heart. I mean, I'm going for all of that. I'm not going to be like, okay, let me get this perfect shot on your head. I'm just throwing it out there and doing what I need to do.
So Young Guns asked this question, and I'm interested in this answer as well. KS, have you had any issues with your Archon?
Not a single one with either one. Now I don't have the black one anymore, just the FDE one. But they were both phenomenal experiences. They still are. I still have the FDE, so not an issue, not a bobble.
Yeah, and I played with them. They've got two of the FDE. They look more gold to me, but two of the gold slides or FDE slides. At Texas Gun Experience, and I was playing around with those yesterday, and one has night sights and the other one has the standard sights, and I was kind of playing around with it, and the more and more I play with that gun, the more and more I like it. I wish it was milled. Now I know there's already people that are milling them for dots, but I think it's a really nice gun. And the price, I've seen the price, it came down a little bit, but it's still, I think it's like $800 and something. I remember when they were like $9 something, but I think it's a very nice gun. And I did flip the mag around, how you can put it in backwards and take the mag release out. And I thought that was kind of cool. And I was playing around with it, showing somebody that you could do that. But I think it's a pretty nice gun.
I like the Archon, but I still can't seem to wrap my head around it. And not that I don't understand the gun or that it's confusing to me. I'm not sure. Like, I like it, but it's not one of those guns that, oh my God, I love that gun. And I just don't know what it is. And I've watched countless videos on them, getting everybody's viewpoints. Some people say they love it. Some people say they're, I don't know where I'm at with that gun. I wouldn't be surprised if you see it on the channel at some point. Because I really do. I was actually paid for that gun. And then I had to wait like 8 months, and I was like, fuck it. I just got my money back. But at the same time, it's definitely one that I still probably should shoot at some point.
If you do Omaha Outdoors, they've got a cool version of the Archon Type B you might want to check out.
So Indie Irish.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. What about it, or what is it?
Oh, you'll have to check it out. Now, just go out on
Okay.
Omaha Outdoors. It's a custom version, and it looks very cool.
Okay.
So ND Irish is asking if he heard me say during the last chat that I don't like folding braces. I don't recall ever saying that. I don't recall even talking about folding braces. So I don't know. I don't remember saying it. I don't have an opinion either way. So sorry.
I think I like folding braces. If you can make it smaller and fit in something like a smaller pack or something that you need to conceal better or something, I'm all for it. And when they open up and snap, like lock back in position, if you get the SB Tactical, they're pretty damn rock solid.
Let's see. Knuckles, have I shot one? No. I don't know. Is that about the Archon or a folding brace? I'm not sure.
Probably Archon.
Probably the Archon.
No, I've not shot the Archon, and that's why I'm still. That's the thing that I find so intriguing about the gun is that I do like it, but I'm just not sure about it. And it's like, do I spend that money and then say, God, I have a $900 fart in my hand, And I mean, it looks great, and everybody says they love the gun, the way it shoots and everything. I just have not dedicated myself to that gun yet.
So. Roll the dice, dude. Roll the dice.
I think you would like it.
I do think I would like it. I'm not going to lie, but it's like I watched 2 videos in a row and it'd be like, oh, this gun is great. Then I watched the 3rd video and sure enough, oh, this gun's no good. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, but the 3rd video was clearly wrong.
Well,
obviously, 2/3 said they liked it.
See, majority rule.
And it's like us, I mean, we agree on some stuff we don't agree on. So it's, everybody's going to have their opinion. So your opinion could, like it or not like it. But I really like the little front serration, where it's cut lower, where you can really do a lot of people don't rack from the front, but I think it's cool that they thought of doing that. And it does have a super low bore axis. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to the gun. So I think if it were like that to some, comparable, maybe Gucci Glock or something, I would probably get the Archon just because I already have the Glocks and I don't have an Archon.
Right.
But I would definitely get it one day for a dot. How many rounds does the Archon hold? Oh, well, yeah.
And here's your answer.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, I was going to say.
Well played. And
see, that was one thing about it. I was like, man, they could have got 2 more rounds in that gun. That when I first saw that gun at NRA, I was like, really? Come on. You could get 2 more in there pretty easily.
Well, I wonder if that had to do with importing issues.
And who knows? It might have, but
I mean, it could be. I mean, people made the same argument about the VP9, and to me, the VP9 is a good gun. 15 rounds are fine. If you're that worried about capacity, carry extra magazines or whatever you need to do.
Well, and also the PPQ. Remember, I went on about, man, that grip needs to be a tad longer, and it needs 17 or at least 17 rounds. But it's people are going to vary on that. So. Mm-hmm. But then again, and if you're looking at a bad state, or whatever, it's going to be 10 anyway. So I don't really know where 15 comes into play, but I guess maybe they're counting it as a compact versus a full size. They're trying to get into that category. I don't know, but it's definitely bigger than a compact. The Archon is.
Yeah, bigger and heavier and awesomer.
Yeah. That's funny. I think that's why I'm not sold on it. I wish the grip was a little bit smaller. I know you think it needs to be bigger, Big Johnson, but I wish it was more of a compact type of gun.
Well, I played around with it yesterday and really put my hands on it. And I mean, I was throwing it out, doing that against the wall and stuff. And I was like, I could live with this one. I could. It wasn't pinching me or any of that kind of stuff. I did a couple of mag changes really hard and, let my hands relax. And I think I could work it. I think it'd be fine. I would just like it to be bigger, just a tad, but that's just, so I could really get a little more meat on it, but I could easily shoot that gun.
VP9, meh.
It is. It's just a very vanilla gun, man. I know all the HK freaks are going to be like, oh my God, but it's just, that's all it is. That's all it is to me.
I will say, I love the SK. I think the SK is a tremendously good gun. I think it's the right size because it really kind of skirts that subcompact, but just a little bit bigger, fills the hand really nicely. I think the SK probably should have been the first one out, and then a lot of people will disagree, but that's just a tremendously good gun.
So what are you guys carrying this week?
It's right here, but I can't show it. The CZ P10C with the comp on it, in the Harry's holster, of course.
I'm back to the 26. That's the rig right now, and I love that gun. I absolutely love it. And again, it goes back to that magazine compatibility with the Banshee that's in the bag. So that's also very nice as well.
Now, will that little 26 mag fit in the Banshee?
Yeah, it will, but it's only got the one mag that's that one, and everything else is big. So everything else, I mean, my backup for the 26 is a 15 round mag, and in the bag I've got two 24s and two 33s. Okay. So I feel like I have enough with me, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been carrying a P10, but honestly, guys, I'm carrying in my house. I have not left my house in almost 4 days. So it's just, that's all I can say.
You know, Sam 2A has a question. Anyone still carrying a Ruger LCR?
Was anyone? I'm totally kidding.
Okay.
No, actually, I like the Ruger LCR, but I've never shot one, never carried one. I would at some point love to have a 9mm LCR. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but just for funsies.
Yeah, I wouldn't carry it. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't. Not saying that it's a bad gun, but it just doesn't do it for me.
No, the only Ruger I've ever owned is the PC carbine.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like, the Ruger offering, especially the 22s. The Mark IV is really hard to beat. It's a freaking fantastic gun. And I had the Mark III too, but it was a pain in the ass to take apart. I had to watch a video every time I wanted to take it apart because I never could remember how.
So, Mischievous Yoey, there you go. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's got Destro as his you guys know who Destro is, right? If you're a fan of G.I. Joe. Come on, 80s cartoons, guys? Jesus.
So
you forget, I had the OG G.I. Joe man.
That's because you're old.
Yeah, the full-size doll, right?
Yeah, right.
Hang on. I had the $6 million man, too, where you could look through his head.
Steve Austin.
Had the little microscopic eye, so...
That was back in the 50s, right?
Yeah, that was back in the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Black and white TV, baby.
That's right.
All right.
It wasn't TV. It was just radio.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Little Orphan Annie.
That's right. The question, sir.
So why do you think that there aren't more PCCs or pistols that insert into the grip?
It's a good question.
I don't know what does that mean. Can you explain that
to me? I think
okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Big.
No, I was going to say, I think what he's talking about is, how you have to put the mag in. Like, why don't you just make the PCC so you can put the mag in the grip like a regular one?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's saying, if you think about the sub 2000, it's Glock mags or whatever other mag.
Right. Okay, I get it.
In the grip versus like an AR9, that sort of thing.
I think the reason it's that way is because you can always keep, like the bad guy at bay, and then you can eject the mag here while you don't have to lose your grip. But if you had to load here, you're probably going to have to tilt. You're going to have to do something a little awkward to where you're taking the gun off of the bad guy. That's my opinion. I don't know, if that's right or wrong, but you never really have to leave the gun to change the mag. And it would be a little more difficult if you're going way down where the grip's hanging down and trying to load it in there versus looking through your peripheral and being able to load it right there. That's just my opinion.
I agree with that statement by Young Guns, by the way. So I think it's actually reliability. I think the AR versions, the newer AR versions, are more reliable than having the magazines in the grip. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is a functionality thing. But then also you think about the popularity of AR platforms. And there's parts, there are probably some parts that are compatible between AR9s and ARs. So it's probably cheaper for manufacturers to do that than trying to come up with a different solution that might be more expensive for them to produce. So they're probably going to be a couple of things. If you think about it, the manufacturers probably aren't thinking about ease of operation. The big manufacturers, anyways, they're probably thinking about the dollar. So that would be my guess.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If I understand the question correctly, which I don't think I still do, but I'm going to try my best. I think it comes down to making more things so that people are forced to buy more things, so I don't know if I'm even answering that question correctly. So I'm sorry if I'm not, but I think if everything was to fit in one thing versus another, then you're going to lose making more shit for people to buy, so why would you want that? Why wouldn't you want to have, part A can't fit with part B because now you have to buy part A and part B. I don't know if I'm answering that question correctly, but I think we should move on because I don't think I totally answered that correctly. So it was a good question. I'm just an idiot. I don't know what the hell the question meant still. So it's been a long week, guys. That's all I can say.
1776 left us something to ponder.
Yes.
Very deep thoughts on that one, guys, because I pulled that right out of my ass. I'm not gonna lie. So Young Guns is saying, and I know KS said he agreed with them. I don't understand why Ruger brought out the American pistol competition with the Norm 1 Bond. I 1000% agree. The Ruger American was an absolute bomb.
Train wreck. I hate to say it. I'm sure there are some people who really dig it. Man, every time I pick one of those up, I'm like, nope, put it right back down.
Well, the damn back of that slide is so wide. I don't know how, maybe your hands, Big Johnson, but it just rubs your knuckles raw.
Yeah, but what's in the title of that gun?
Ruger?
American.
Competition.
So, yeah. When you throw that word, it's kind of like the word tactical. When you throw that in anything, it makes it, oh, wow, I've got to have the competition model or the tactical model. So I think that's, and they wanted to have some sort of offering that either their shooters could use in the competitive realm or hoping someone will buy it to compete with it. So I think that's why they made it, and not saying you have to compete to own it, but I think that's why they kind of threw something out there so they could say, we have an offering for the competition market. That's my opinion.
There's probably some truth to that. I mean, I buy into that a little bit. I still go back to the American really didn't sell very well. It was not a popular firearm. It wasn't reviewed well by most people. I mean, some people said, hey, it works, whatever, which is fine. And that's cool. But if your first one wasn't that big, why are you still doing it? Although that argument could be said for the APX, no offense.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the competition model, it's got like the slide cuts, it's got some lightning cuts. It's got some different looks to it, which might appeal to some where the other one didn't. But I'm kind of there with you. I'm like, it is what it is. It doesn't appeal to me, but I'm sure people will buy it. If they've already got the American, now they're going to have the competition model. Or if they've got the PCC, now they've got the competition model. So I'm sure some
interestingly enough, out of that whole line of Americans, the compact was the best of all of them. To me, that gun felt like they got it right size-wise, but the full size, the thing felt like it was a 400-pound piece of lead in your hand. I mean, it just didn't feel right, the gun. And then they had a recall on the gun. I guess something was breaking inside of the gun. So I don't know if that played a role in it, but I will say the Apex has better ergonomics than the American.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, they actually have better prices than the American.
Yeah.
Much cheaper.
Right. Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but the American was designed around the 500 Magnum. So they wanted to make sure that it could hold that large round. So,
Yeah. That thing is a pig, man. It's like, then they had the little compact one. It was like, small in the grip, but man, it was like that wide. I was like, it didn't bother me, but I saw some people trying to put their hand around it, and I was like, damn, it reminded me like of a chunkier like Glock 26 kind of.
Yeah. Now, if somebody's looking for, especially on the competition side, if they want a relatively inexpensive out-of-the-box competition firearm, I typically recommend, and not everybody's going to like this, but the TP9 SFX. That's actually, it's a good gun. It's got all the features, cut for an optic, all that kind of stuff, and it's pretty inexpensive. And it's they tend to run pretty well.
Yeah, Brian has a question. I know it's not going to appeal to everybody, but Brian Duchesne, he's asking, do you have you found it? Okay.
Are we
to read it?
Under Armour?
Body armor.
Oh.
I bet you're talking about body armor.
I was kidding.
Do y'all have any?
I do not.
You don't have a bunch of phone books put together where you can wrap them around you?
Oh, no. I don't have any body armor. I've got tons of phone books. That's totally
okay. Then you're good. Yeah, totally. You're good. Yes, I do have body armor. I don't advertise it, but I do have plates for the front, the back, and 2 side plates. But, I've had it for a while. It's not the ceramics, which I wish it was, but they are extremely expensive. But it's pretty heavy. But, and I do have soft armor pads also. I think it goes up to a 45 maybe, or, it's 9mm 45 and 380, but they're just soft also, where you can change those out. But, I don't advertise that stuff.
I do not have body armor. I don't even know what to say with that one. That's all I got. I will
say this. I do not think it should be outlawed. I think if, I know that some places will not sell to civilians. I think that's completely asinine, because if you want to buy it, you should buy it. I don't think they should tell you what to buy and what not to buy. So that's my opinion on that. I know some places do not sell to civilians, and I think that's stupid.
Cass, did you answer that? I don't think you answered. Did you?
I think I did.
Yeah, you're talking about phone books.
Yeah, I don't have any armor. I used to have lots of phone books.
I got cast iron pans. Boom. Yes. Done.
You're good.
Let's see. IBG is saying it's all 3. What 3 YouTube gunners would you want visiting you for the day if your property was being attacked by armed criminals? I think I have my 3 figured out. So have you guys put any thought to this?
That's an interesting question. I probably do. I mean, just kind of off the top of my head, and not just because he's a buddy of ours, but he's a hell of a shooter, honest outlaw. I think he could shoot the balls off a gnat. But then probably Grand Thumb. I mean, he's a mover, and maybe whatever John from Warrior Poet Society, he's a mover as well. Those guys are more operator sorts, so they'd have some of the tactical instincts, where I would not. So that would be very helpful.
It's really crazy. You said the exact 3 that I was going to say. So, and if you could throw a 4th in there, I mean, I like Lucas. Some people don't like him. I'm not saying he's a battle guy or anything like that, but I think it'd be cool just to have him, at the range and just kind of watch him, especially compared to Grand Thumb and Warrior Poet, just to see the comparison between them. I think that would, and even Honest, I think that would be pretty neat to see all of them, shoot, and you could watch them and stuff. But if it came right down to it, your 3 or my 3. So that's exactly who I was going to say.
If I had to pick, I'm picking Clint Smith. I am picking Honest, because the dude can shoot. Obviously, everybody knows that. And the one that I'm kind of iffy on, but I just think it would be interesting because he's such a dick sometimes, is got to be Jaeger.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Yankee Marshall.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. What is he going to do? He's going to stop it. Stop.
Yeah.
No.
Hey,
no,
but you know what? He could wear the sash. He could wear that sash.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
He's gonna shoot his revolvers at everybody. No, thank you. But I mean, I think that would be such a different combination of people. Because Clint is just that guy's so cool. He's such a badass and real world experience. Honest outlaw because he can shoot amazingly shoot, and he's just a good dude. Jaeger, I have no idea who he is, except for the fact that he acts like an ass. But from what I'm hearing from other people, that he's just genuinely good to learn from, but he's very harsh about it. And I kind of dig that, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I've met him in person. I met him at NRA. Just was talking to him, and he was actually a really nice guy. I mean, just meeting him, I don't know him, but. And Clint would just sit there and he would just chew your ass out about everything you're doing wrong. And he would just make you feel like you're this small. But I guarantee if you, okay, put it this way. if I had to have like a platoon leader or something, yeah, it would be Clint Smith. He would be like, y'all go do that, y'all go do that. But, he is getting older, which we all are, and he's got the neck issues and had to have the surgery and stuff. So I would definitely want him leading the charge, but I don't know as far as getting out there and rolling around. I'm sure he could still carry his own and kick people's ass.
That's okay, man. I want to learn from a salty dog, man, and he's as salty as you get. So,
yeah.
All right, boys.
For sure.
So,
real quick,
go ahead.
Banshee said Vigilance Elite, and actually that is kind of a good idea too. But he'd be the dude that would come out of the shadows; you'd never see him coming, and it would just be, and then he's back in the shadows. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at the hour. We went well over 100 people today, so that was kind of nice. Thank you, everybody, for watching. So I will give you two fellas the last words, and then we will sign off for the week.
Go ahead, Cass.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us, spending an hour with us. We really appreciate that. Of course, stay safe and healthy, as I know you guys are. Do your thing. Hopefully we can get out and be among the world here very soon, or protest more, whatever you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to, thank everyone for allowing, spending time with us. It means a lot, and we appreciate it so much. Next week it'll be on my channel, and I hope you all can all join. I've got some videos coming out. I had a really good, fun time today, all by myself, doing some shooting. So got some stuff on that. And everyone, please stay safe. Thank everyone that's out there, the medical professionals, our truck drivers, all the people that are making it happen right now. They're definitely stepping up for all of us. So.
Again, I'll shout out what you two said. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Again, everybody stay healthy and safe out there. In regards to things coming up, I still got to do the damn review on the Marlin, but I'm trying to figure out a way to do it because it's a big rifle and I have a small table. But I also got some goodies coming in from Icarus Precision. And this is a company that a lot of people were kind of down on the prices with the lowers for the P320s, guys. But when you do the math of stippling and Cerakoting and everything else, yes, it's a little bit pricier than that. It's 100% worth it. I'm telling you, it just changes the dynamics of a gun. If you like aluminum striker-fired handguns, you're going to love it. And wait till you see what they're sending me. But I got to send it back to them. I can't keep it. Damn it.
Yeah.
But I look forward to that. And other than that, guys, stay safe, be healthy, and we will see you next week all. Have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
I'll be safe.
Let's see. I got to end the broadcast.